Violent crime is surging in Louisiana. Woke leaders blame the police. I blame the criminals. A mom should not have to look over her shoulder when she's pumping gas. I voted against the early release of violent criminals, and I opposed defunding the police. Look, if you hate cops just because they're cops, the next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead.
Oh,
I'm John Kennedy, and I approve this message.
John Kennedy. Oh, that's quality, man.
The California dream has turned to a nightmare. The politicians have let us down.
Strangers and shit.
Oh!
Let's stand up to
Sitting
the
there with their
corruption.
houses and get fucking
Let's
odds.
fight for ourselves. Let's bring the dream back. I'm Alice Vilanueva, and I approve this.
That's it?
This is the guy.
That's it? Yeah, but that's it. That's his ad? He's a dickhead.
It's about crime. But they're all on about crime. It's crime. It's a big thing now.
Because it's easy.
Well, yeah, it is easy there, you know, and it's like low-hanging fruit. And like the thing about that, the great thing about that is Alex Villanueva is running for sheriff, and you read that story about him being like just the amount of just like.
A monster.
Yeah, he's a gangster. He's a gangster.
He's a gangster.
And like within the LA sheriff, the LA sheriffs are a gang. They're a criminal gang.
I've never seen anything. I've never read anything like that.
Unbelievable. And he's under like various fucking indictments and all that kind of shit and investigations and.
So he has to win.
So he has to win. But the thing is, it's like razor thin.
I brought this.
Oh shit. It's razor thin, the margin, like for.
But it is for a bunch of races, even with the fucking
Yeah,
most
yeah, yeah,
outlandish
yeah.
candidates. It's razor thin.
Yeah, it's razor thin because it's
people are
like
voting.
it's like my guys are good, your guys are bad.
Yeah.
No matter how bad my guy is.
No matter how bad.
Yeah, and this is the problem that you get when with the political system in the United States is you have two choices. You have shit and shit. It's
You
like,
have one choice. Man.
You have one choice. It's like basically, you know, you're voting to keep the you know the corporate oligarchs fucking in power, and you know, and like it's perfect for them to be talking about like shit like, you know, like crime, but just as crime,
Yeah.
not as like why is there so much crime?
Right.
Because there's so much poverty, and why is there so much poverty? And like, you know, not to look at the like, you know, let's look at the overall fucking the macroeconomic thing of it is that, you know, and why like, you know, we've created like the billionaires have gotten like 50 times richer this year, and the poor have gotten 100 times poorer.
Mm-hmm. The disparity is crazy.
You know.
Well, the thing is, it's like if people weren't so fucked up over these stupid wedge issues, they'd realize they don't have any choice. And then they would be like, why are we all poor?
They would, yeah.
And then they would probably fucking lose their minds.
I mean,
They're not already.
I mean, you know, like the elections that you have now, you have like the big races that they're talking about are that crazy lady in Arizona, who's not like
Carrie Lake, she's crazy, dude.
She's crazy, yeah, but she's not crazy. But she's not really crazy. That's manufactured crazy.
Yeah.
Because she knows that'll get her elected.
Yeah.
It's completely manufactured crazy. That woman is not crazy. She worked as a fucking news anchor for fucking years.
Yeah, she's really popular
she's
before.
playing it. She's grifting.
Same
She's
with Blake
grifting.
Masters.
She is grifting.
Same with Blake Masters.
Yeah, yeah.
He was on there's a video of him on the phone, and Trump's like, you know, you see why Carrie's getting all this attention and doing well is because she's pushing that 10,000 Meals documentary or whatever the fuck it's called.
Denise
and
D'Souza. Jesus Christ.
So because he says that to him on the phone, and Blake Masters is like, okay, yeah, you're right. And you see him on the phone, he's like, yep. He's getting orders from Dad.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I just think it's the whole political system it's a complete and utter joke. But it's fun to watch from here.
Yeah, I don't even know.
And the point is, like, I mean, this is a discussion I have with my brother, and hopefully you're listening. Like it doesn't make a difference. I mean, you think that you get all behind your team and your side, and you think your side are going to do something, but it doesn't make a difference because they're all exactly the same.
It's fixed.
They all serve the same. You know, they all serve the same master, and and the master is big money, big tech, big finance. Like those, you know, the Black Rocks and the, you know, and the military industrial complexes of this world are the ones who run the show.
Because we don't have any money.
No, they don't.
That's the
they
thing.
couldn't give a fuck about you. You don't have money. They only care about people who have money.
Exactly.
You know, and that's how, like, you know, so it's like a big grift to get in there, and you know, and it's funny to watch, like these, just to see how unbelievably stupid they can make people, like Herschel Walker. I mean, they can just put out the most
He's like got the
horrible, odious like unsympathetic, unattractive, and I don't mean unattractive like in a
physical way, as a person.
As a person. And they can put them out there like the people with like the lowest moral fucking fiber. And they'll vote for them because we can't let those crazy Democrats in there, or we can't let those fascist Republicans in. It's the crazy, like far left radical Democrats against the far right Republican like fascists. It's ridiculous.
But they all go for dinner when they take off their costumes.
But they all go for dinner, and they all fucking go, and they all line up to queue up to get their fucking checks from the same people.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You have the same people donating. There's people donating to both campaigns.
There's also the Democratic Party is donating to crazy Republicans.
To crazy Republicans because they think it's easier to run against them.
If you are
it's
like,
so
if
cynical.
you contribute to the Democratic Party or to whatever, can you imagine what that feels like?
No, I can't imagine.
Like if you were actually, if you actually believe what that must feel like, you're like, what?
Yeah,
imagine. That would blow your head up.
I mean, I voted Democrat, but I never.
No, but believer.
Apart from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Sorry, a little bit of maintenance here. I'll get those keys back to you, so I'll forget them. Apart from when I was a kid, and I did that thing with my 7th grade teacher, where we went to like the whole class went to. She was a volunteer for Jimmy Carter.
Oh wow.
In not 76, it would have been when he was running for president.
Huh.
So we went.
Were you canvassing?
We put shit in there. We stuffed envelopes for the day, basically the whole class. It was like a field trip that she took us on, right? Which I mean, if a teacher tried to do that now,
you're gone.
Forget it.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, forget it, man.
Are you
She'd
fucking
be
kidding me?
Absolutely
You can't do that.
fucking
You can't
destroyed,
do it.
man.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
It's not appropriate anyways, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I mean, at the time it was because it wasn't like.
Yeah, but if it's like getting involved with civics and stuff like that,
Yeah,
maybe.
I
don't know if you should be.
Maybe you're right, but I mean,
Yeah,
at the time, I didn't like. There was a different. It was different. It really was different.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it is now. Like the way it is now is just insane, because there's nothing else. Like there's nothing else. Like now there's nothing else. Politics is everything. It consumes loads of people's lives. Loads of people don't give a shit about it, or don't care, and aren't going to vote. It doesn't matter because whether they know it or not, it doesn't make a difference. The people who get all worked up about it just don't realize that it doesn't make a difference.
But they're fired enough about.
But they're so fired up about it, you know. Like my brother was really angry with me on the phone because I was making a mockery of the whole thing. And I was like, it doesn't matter. If the Republican guy in your district wins or if the Democrat in your district wins, it doesn't matter. He goes, but I'm on Social Security. They'll do this and they'll do that. I was like, nah.
Well,
both of them are going to do it.
Both of them are going to do it. True.
Both of them are going to do it.
Imagine.
One of them's going to tell you they don't want to do it. The other one's going to tell you that we're doing it.
Yeah.
But they're both going to do it.
They're both going to do it. But the thing is, like for your brother or somebody, right? Like imagine.
Yeah, no, I get it, man.
Or for, okay, let's say if you are, and I mean, if there's not that many. I don't know, that sounds super insensitive what I'm about to say, but like let's say if you're talking about transgender rights, which is the big thing now.
Yeah.
It's easy to fire up somebody who has a kid
Absolutely.
on the left, maybe they live in fucking
Absolutely.
Pennsylvania,
Absolutely.
and you're like,
No, I
okay,
get it.
this is my kid's future.
I get it. I mean, I mean, and then they've taken.
They become activists without wanting to
They've
be.
taken the transgender thing and just gone like they've fucking run for the end zone with that one, because, you know, like they've taken what is like a tiny fractional percentage of the population of the fucking of the nation and of the world that are transgender, that are, you know, that identify as, like, you know, the other sex or whatever the fuck. Tiny fraction, and turned it into this gigantic fucking boogeyman.
Yeah. The thing is, though, Republicans are doing it, and they're making their people scared. The problem is that Democrats make people who are transgender scared, because they're like, that guy's going to come and get you. And then on top of that, you have women who think that after Roe v. Wade and everything is gone, it's like, well they're
this
taking
is my
them.
point.
And
this is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Is neither one of these political parties or any political candidate in either one of these parties gives a single solitary fuck about anyone who's transgender, or about women's rights, or about any of that fucking shit. They will play lip service to that to get you to vote for them, but in the end of the day, they'll do what they're fucking told. Like any of the changes that have happened in society in the last like 50 years, and if you think about it, like I know we're talking about like transgender bathrooms and all this fucking freaked out weirdness shit about it, right?
Yeah.
But if you go back like 50 years, like times have changed to the point where like it's so much more accepted.
Yeah.
Like, it's so accepted now. And politicians didn't do any of that shit through any kind of legislation.
No, people
or
do.
People did that.
People do that. People do that. Even
You know what I mean?
Yeah, people do that. Even a lot of people do that in work. Like
Yeah.
different things are not acceptable. It's
But
people.
people
it's not,
start to feel
it's not
differently
your
and-
boss
yeah,
telling
yeah.
you to be less racist
Like-
or less. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's the people who work with
Exactly.
you.
Exactly.
It is. It's
exactly.
true.
So to think that like somehow like that you're going to elect a politician who's going to like either make it better for transgender people or make it worse for transgender people or improve the situation, it's just fucking nonsense, because those things change like it's almost like they evolve on their own. It's like, you know, people start to think more liberally and they start to think about, I just think they
Well, I
do.
don't know if they
man.
evolve on their own, because then it's like you're taking credit away from people who actually.
No.
Yeah,
But I'm when I said, I shouldn't say on their own, but I mean
Yeah.
outside of the fucking
Of the establishment.
of the
It's not
establishment
people,
politics.
it's
yeah,
people,
it's
not
people.
politicians.
It's people like making that
Politicians are not
change.
people.
It's people making
Yeah,
that change.
that's true.
You know, it's people sitting down and saying, "Look, you know, I'm gay, and this, and what's wrong with me?" And you know, or like kids fucking sitting in the fucking lunchroom
Yep.
and getting the shit kicked out of them, and
Yep.
people are going like, "Hang on a minute," and then people like getting together and going, "Wow, this is fucking ridiculous. Why have we been doing this for so long?" And then people start to change and they start to think. Politics never has anything to do with that. No. Politics always follows that.
And the problem is like you look at it, like you're right, because like you look at Emmett Till, like that was his mom who did that.
That was his
the
mom.
community who did that. That was no politician anyway.
I mean, that was fucking horrible.
And that was horrible, but that was sacrifice on a woman's part too.
Yeah, and if you think about Emmett Till as a great example, Emmett Till happened in 1955.
Yep.
It took another 10 years
Yep.
for them to pass the Voting Rights
So
Act.
who didn't do their part?
Well, exactly.
Exactly.
The politicians were not there when Emmett Till happened.
I would-
It was Emmett Till's mother. Emmett Till's mother and Jet magazine. Was it Jet or Ebony?
It was
was
Jet
one of
or
the black
Ebony, one
magazines.
of the
Jet or
ones.
Ebony.
Could have been Jet.
I think it might have been Jet.
I think it might have been
It was
Jet.
Jet magazine that put the fucking that put the pictures of him at the funeral, like, and his face was like
Open casket.
destroyed
Yeah.
by what these fucking horrible people had done to him. And that was I mean, it was, but even with that, it took 10 years.
Well, maybe, you know, the thing that's funny is they've kind of taken representation, the concept of it, of having us being represented. Like, let's say if you have a black person who's represented as a president, right?
Yeah.
We think that that's going to, you know, bring more equality. But that they've turned that on its head.
Yeah.
Because actually what it means is they just take the person who looks like you and makes them oppress you. Like,
Exactly, and this is
And I
like
think
this whole
that's-
like that thing we talked about. I was maybe it was last year when that ad came out about the CIA lady. It was like a
That was so fun.
Latina fucking.
It was Latinx,
blah
lesbian.
blah fucking
Yeah,
you know like
yeah.
whatever. I have like fucking brain
gonna-
dysmorphia and shit, but I'm a proud CIA agent.
Yeah.
Fuck you, man. And this is like co-opting movements and shit and putting like you know and they put like you know. They put like a brown face like Barack Obama in charge of the you know and everybody like you know
President
not
again.
just brown people but black people and brown people. Me, I was like this guy's going to change everything.
No.
And within fucking 3 weeks, I was like, I was annoyed with myself. I wasn't
believing.
I wasn't angry with Barack Obama. I was angry with Vinnie because I was like, how can you fucking believe this guy? They would never have let him get into that position if he wasn't going to do exactly what he was told.
yeah, it's true.
And
It's true.
that's who politicians are, every single one of them. They're fucking around now like that guy with the fucking, if you're in trouble, go ask a crackhead. It's a great line though.
John Kennedy.
You gotta hand it to him, that's a great line. You know what I mean?
Call
Don't
him
call a policeman,
Call a crackhead. I saw that and I was like, okay.
But yeah, so
Amazing.
so electoral politics, you know, and we have outside of the U.S. we had like Lula da Silva, elected again as president of Brazil, and but like by a very it was like 50.1 to 49 point. It was like
Which was crazy.
Wafer thin.
How
the
did they
result.
do it in Brazil? It's like a second round thing.
Yeah, well,
'Cause
he
they did the
didn't
first
get
one.
enough. He didn't get enough back in June or July.
Okay.
Or was it July? June or July?
Yeah.
To get the no, sorry, it was in. It was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
3 or 4
3
weeks
weeks ago.
I'm thinking of the other election I was following, which is the fucking sheriff of Los Angeles. Yeah. So. Yeah, because he didn't get enough to win outright, they had to have a second round. That's how they do elections. They do it like that in France. They do that like that in Argentina. They do that like that in a lot of places.
So I was just like, what? Well,
Yeah.
that might go bad.
Imagine if they'd done that in the States and like Trump.
Never,
and
never,
fuck-
ever,
could have
ever,
Trump-
ever.
It would never end.
It would never
You'd be like,
end.
oh, but it would be fucking quality, man.
Well,
It'd be
this
so
last
fucking-
election hasn't ended either. I mean, we're still talking about fucking election integrity and
Oh,
all
God.
that shit, and that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, because that's like gold for them. That is gold.
It's done.
That is pure gold for like the media. Love that shit, man. And you got to remember that the media make money off of all this shit.
They do.
The amount of money that the media make off these fucking artists, and you have people who like, and this is it's the election security thing is such a great thing because it's both sides.
Yeah.
Both sides love it because
Yeah.
both sides have exploited this stolen election thing. Say what you want. I know there was no like riot in the Capitol, but after Hillary lost that election,
She said it too. She said
they
it
spent
too.
4 fucking years
She said it too.
saying that the election was stolen.
She said it too.
Trump wasn't fairly elected, and Putin had put Trump in power. I mean, they still like there's like a nickname for Mitch McConnell, and they call it Moscow Mitch, like because he's a Republican and Putin put the Republicans in. I don't know. I don't know. It's just it's beyond
The thing
fucking.
is, it's kind of gross because all the facts get lost in all this bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
At some point, you don't give a fuck anymore.
No, Saddam. That's the point.
That's the point.
The point is that the facts and the reality and all that stuff gets lost in bullshit because bullshit just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning.
And making cash.
And if you had to actually have a reasonable conversation, like acknowledging the facts of the situation, you'd come to a fucking conclusion. But if you just keep stirring bullshit around, it's just more bullshit, and they keep throwing shit back and forth at each other, and people tune in to watch because I'm on that side and you're on that side, and you know that's.
I mean, like
Yeah.
it's like the media kind of is the thing that allows all these other like fucking organizations or fucking entities to do whatever they do. Because if you think about it, you know, they skew so much stuff that you know, you get to be big pharma keeps you fucked up. The military industrial complex keeps you fucked up. Everything keeps you fucked up, and then they tell you all this bullshit.
But like I said, like who pays for like you know if you watch the nightly news in America, in the U.S., you watch the nightly news, the ads are all from fucking big pharma, and like I told you, I saw an ad for Boeing. Like Boeing on the 6 o'clock news on a fucking Saturday night.
For what though? For what for Boeing?
It was just like Boeing, what a great company we are, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, well, I mean, what demographic are they aiming for here? It was like, you know, like grandma and grandpa sitting down to watch the 6 o'clock news, and they're like, thinking about buying a fucking are they in the market for Boeing F-35 fighter jet?
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
if you
like,
see an ad, if you see a logo enough, it becomes familiar to you.
Exactly.
You know, you're like, you go to McDonald's.
Exactly.
I mean, I go to McDonald's and I think it's happy, but it's actually killing me.
No, it is actually, yeah. And you know, and they're all in like it's all like it's just this one giant cabal. Now it's my fucking tinfoil hat moment, but like you know, like the mega food industry, the industry that makes there's only about 4, 5, or 6 companies that make all the food in the U.S. Right? You know, like the majority of it anyway. I mean, there's like small. You know, if you live in a decent like a well-off community, you can get fresh food and all that kind of shit. But if you live in the regular America, you go to like Kroger or whatever, and it's all the same shit.
Yeah.
It's like General Foods and Tyson and you know the big companies. They control all the food, and they're propped up by Monsanto, and they're propped up by the petroleum industry because they make all the fertilizers, and they're propped up by and the military industrial complex are all in there, and then we have the pharmaceutical industry that comes up with the treatments to treat you for all the fucking shitty food that they've been feeding you.
Because they know you're going to probably get a heart problem.
Because they're all working together
Yeah.
to create this fucking system that just creates. It's like something out of fucking J.R.R. Tolkien, like the Mound of Mordor. You know what I mean? The fucking they all live in this thing, and they just want to turn every. You know, I come up with a new word for it. It's not even capitalism anymore. It's just extractionism.
Whoa.
Just extractionism.
That's crazy.
It's just extract as much out of you as possible.
One person.
It's like the Matrix. They need you for your instead of plugging you in for your electrical energy, they're just trying to suck everything out of you. Like they've got you so you're like it's like you're on a treadmill and you go and you've got to pay for everything. You got to pay for this. You got to pay for that. You got to pay for this. You got to pay for that. You have to pay for fucking every single thing that you have. Like
it just costs money to breathe.
Yeah, they create a world in which you need all these things. They make a world that you need one of these, which means you need Wi-Fi, you need electricity for the Wi-Fi, you need this, you need that, you need this, you need that, and you've got to pay for all these things, and you're slowly just being bled.
And then you get taxed on the shit that you do.
And then you
make.
get taxed on it
And your
all.
work.
And your work, yeah. And it's just this one system of extraction.
There's
So
the
it's
funniest
extractionism.
meme ever I saw. It was like how to explain the tax system to your kids. You like get an ice cream, and then like you take half of the ice cream off of the kids, and then you shit on the rest.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
that's basically it.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about it,
Sounds
and I was
about right.
like, yeah, it is,
Sounds
because I
about
was thinking about it. I was
right.
like, we get taxed. You get taxed on your income.
Yep.
If you have a company, you get taxed on that.
And you get taxed every time you
Buy anything.
Anything. Your rent is taxed even though you're not paying it. Your landlord's paying it, but it's like coming out of your
coming
landlord's
out of
not paying. You're paying it.
Yeah, you're paying it.
You're paying it, but your landlord is the conduit
Yeah.
by which it comes from you to.
He gets you.
Yeah, he gets it, but he gets taxed as well.
Yeah.
He's getting shit sucked off
Sure.
him as well. Your rent gets taxed, your electricity gets taxed, your water gets taxed. You leave the house, you go to buy something, it gets taxed. Everything has everything. So there's like a constant, but like we've set the system up to be that way, and I don't think we all have to go back living in a fucking cave and shit. But I think we can set the system up to be a little bit more,
Less abusive.
yeah.
It's pretty abusive.
It is pretty abusive.
It's
yeah.
pretty fucking abusive.
Yeah, it's an abusive relationship.
Just like this fucking article we have to talk about in a second.
Oh yeah. The LA sheriffs.
Okay, we'll take a little break and
Sure.
explain that.
Sure.
Alrighty.
So, that article in the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Yeah.
Wow.
It's not even an article, it's like a whole series of
Wow.
articles. Yeah. Just,
Wow.
yeah, the unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like watching, that's like a documentary in the 5 families of fucking,
Yeah.
ugh.
Out and out. Not just corruption, but criminal conspiracy. RICO.
Yeah.
It's a RICO. They could RICO the LA Sheriff's Department.
That's insane.
No question about it, man.
'Cause
An
if-
ongoing criminal conspiracy.
If you piggyback off our conversation last week,
Yeah.
talking about
Shitty cops.
an LAPD officer who was potentially
Yeah.
or probably actually murdered by another LAPD officer for reporting a crime of a gang rape by other LAPD officers
Yep.
on a minor.
Yep.
It gets crazy. It gets crazy. Like you just go, okay, well this is totally like an inherited system.
But this guy is running again for
Vilanueva.
sheriff. There's an election next week, and he's running, and there's a very good chance he's win. I mean, and the thing is, it's like politics. There's no political parties involved. It's not like Democrat Republican kind of thing. It's just one guy running against another guy. But the other guy was the chief of the Long Beach Police Department. So. How much fucking shit has that guy swept under the fucking rug? You know what I mean?
Everything.
Come on.
I mean, if you're talking about, it is political too, because you have to understand for these people to keep going. I mean, this it's like silencing communities. You have to fuck with statistics and
Absolutely.
numbers.
Absolutely.
So there's how you always see on TV shows. On every TV show, major crimes, Law and Order, whatever, all these things. It's always like, the numbers.
Yeah. I mean, it's insanity. It's like, and the whitewashing that we get of the police. I mean, that's an obscure article. I mean, I happened to find that. It's on Knock LA.
Yeah, Knock LA, and the article is called A History of Violence, I believe.
Yeah, a history of violence. Yeah. And
Tradition of violence.
I tradition of violence. Yeah, I saw this on a pod. I can't remember where I saw it, but I remembered it. And it took me ages to find it again because I told you what happened to me. I used to use Firefox, and all my bookmarks just went away one day, and I was like, fuck. And I had loads of shit. I put it away in bookmarks. It's easy.
So you could go back to it.
So I'm kind of refinding all that shit now. But yeah, we're just talking about that. Reminding me of that. I mean, it's horrendous. I mean, and the gangs with they've got their own. They've got tattoos and logos and all that shit. And there's a picture of him in. I think it's in one of those articles. There's a picture of him, the guy who's a sheriff now, and he's got like a little statue of one of the gang fucking logos, which is a helmet. A sheriff's helmet with a boot, it's a sheriff's helmet and a boot,
so fucked up.
Stamping on people, and this is who they are.
This is who you.
This is who they are. And they're horrible, man.
I mean,
they really are.
All the parts. I think there's 16 parts, and it says there are at least 18 gangs in the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
Yeah. Yep.
That's insane.
Yep.
18 gangs.
Yep. And they have like Latino gangs, which is all Latino fucking officers,
Yeah.
and they have white gangs, which are all white officers, the cavemen.
Yeah.
One of them is called the cavemen.
Yeah.
I think those
What
are the
do
white
they
guys.
do?
I think they're the
What
white
do they
guys.
do?
Yeah. I mean, they're all awful fucking human beings, man. You know, it's a gang. It's a street gang in the fucking sheriff's department.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they run the jails.
And they run the jails. They run the jails. The sheriff in the U.S. The sheriff's department does 3 things basically all over the United States in every community. They run the jail. They're like the local jail.
Right.
They run the
Highways or something?
the highways and shit.
Okay.
And they do warrants.
Oh, okay, so they're the ones who come and pick you up.
Yeah, they do warrants. They serve warrants.
Makes
4
sense.
things actually, and they do evictions.
Oh, lovely.
They're the ones who do the evictions.
Lovely.
So, you know, they're you know, no, sheriffs don't really do the highway. You usually have like a separate highway patrol.
Okay.
Like in California, you have the California Highway Patrol.
Okay.
In New York, we have the state troopers. So sheriffs do they run the jails, they serve warrants, and they do evictions.
Okay, I thought they did
That's what
something
they
with
do.
highways or something. I thought like that was like their territory or something. I don't know.
Maybe like in rural counties they do, but
Yeah.
not in Los Angeles. In Los Angeles, you have the California Highway Patrol. I mean, they all work together.
Yeah.
I mean, the LA Police, the California Highway Patrol, and the California Highway Patrol are like the state police. Like we have the state troopers in New York.
Yep.
It'd be the state police. You know, and they all work together because they're all like an ongoing criminal conspiracy. I mean, let's be fair.
I mean, I love that this article at every part, it starts with this like under section, 186.22 of the California Penal Code. It describes what a gang is.
Yeah.
And they fit it.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
And these are the people responsible
For
picking up criminals who are in gangs.
law and order.
Right.
In
Like,
Los
look at that. A
Angeles.
common name or identifying sign or symbol, so like a tattoo or something.
Yep.
Primary activities is the commission of one of the long list of California criminal offenses.
Yeah.
Members have engaged in a pattern of criminal gang activity, either alone or together.
I'm telling
That's
you,
unbelievable.
they could RICO the whole fucking Los Angeles fucking sheriff's department.
Some of these stories, I mean, it's murder and murder and murder and murder and murder.
Yeah.
Like on top of murder and murder and murder. I mean, like one of the ones with the was it the police officer Tanaka was the one of the guys, and he killed an Asian boy.
I mean,
there was
read
tons.
I read it long. Yeah, I read it a long time ago. and
Okay.
was like,
I mean, there was
I know,
tons.
yeah, there's mountains of
But
stuff in there,
he
yeah.
got granted kind of like, I guess they like had certain access to one of the cavemen. I think it was the caveman, and it was like if you were white if you were in it, but
Yeah.
there would be like an honorary white status if you killed enough
If you, yeah.
or you did the right things.
Yeah. I mean, I focused on it a lot. I mean, it's a long time ago that I read it. Like, and I focused on a lot on this Alex Vilanueva guy because he's like, I mean, he ran to be the sheriff on this whole thing that he was going to clean this shit up, and then it turns out that he was actually in one of the fucking gangs,
Unbelievable.
whichever the one that with the sheriff's hat. And it was the East LA. It was the East LA, East Los Angeles division of the sheriff's department. He was in that gang, and like he was covering the whole time, and he has been, and he's probably going to win this election
Again.
next Tuesday and be the sheriff again.
Wow.
I mean, and this is American policing. This is just, I mean, it's Los Angeles. Like on Los Angeles, it's obviously on a greater scale because it's a bigger city.
Yeah.
But every single city in the United States has the same issues. The police are all fucking corrupt, and they're a gang, and they all look after each other. And they all make sure they don't get caught. They have prosecutors and shit who like bend the rules to make sure that they don't get into any trouble. They never prosecute them. They never fucking look out. They never go after them.
This is the picture you're talking about with the sheriff
Yeah,
Alex
yeah.
Villanueva with literally.
It's this thing right here.
Yeah,
That
the
thing, right?
helmet, like,
yeah,
and the boot.
That helmet and the boot. Yeah. I'll put a picture of it up when I do the
like
when I do the
stomping on somebody.
Yeah.
It's like Gestapo shit.
Yeah, and it absolutely is like a Gestapo.
Mixture of whites and Hispanics and some blacks.
Yeah,
Some blacks, always a little bit.
I would imagine there's very few blacks.
I
in
mean,
this
I'm imagining it's whoever saw something keep their mouth shut and
Yeah.
doesn't want to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and all of it sounds like so crazy because it's like there's so many times people have tried to report them, and these people really have bad ends.
But that's the thing.
Bad,
It's like when the police are committing a crime, who are you going to call? Crackhead. You need to call a crackhead. That's it. You need to call a crackhead.
Ted Kennedy. No, not Ted Kennedy. Sorry,
John
John Kennedy
Kennedy.
from Louisiana.
Another
no
criminal.
relation.
Another criminal. Let's be fair.
Maybe he's telling you the truth. Call a crackhead. They're
Call a
consistent.
crackhead. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Call a crackhead. Tell them you got some crack. They'll show up.
Call a crackhead. Yeah, they would show
I
up.
got some crack. They will show up, man. They'll show up quicker than the fucking police will.
They would. And they know the neighborhood.
Oh man, but then at the same time, so all this, you learn all this shit, and you read stuff like this, and it's like really, it's kind of, it's mind-boggling. But then, like I still watch my TV cop shows, and I'm dumbfounded.
Yeah.
Blue Bloods, like this cop show with Tom Selleck, right? It's like Tom Selleck and Donnie Wahlberg. Donnie Wahlberg, like whatever you say, about Marky Wahlberg, Marky Mark.
Yep.
Donnie Wahlberg is like 100 times worse. He's the worst actor. He's just awful. Anyway, but every episode, like in every episode now, they have to say like, oh, cops are quitting in record numbers because people don't trust us because the media think we're all bad and blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, it's not just the media that thinks you're all bad, guys. You know what I mean? There's some fucking pretty substantial empirical evidence that you're doing a really shitty job.
I mean, that's funny because that's basically one of the storylines of the narratives for the last 2 seasons of Law & Order SVU.
Yeah.
That like they don't know how to do their job anymore.
And they're afraid.
Good cops are falling by the wayside.
They're afraid to do their job because of what's going to happen
so
if they
what
do their job.
happens when the cops are afraid?
Bullshit.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That's the real Halloween thing.
And this is where
if there's no cops, what do you do?
This is where this whole fucking Law and Order thing is coming from, because of that like defund the police movement last year. Like, like this whole notion that the police are just like not a fucking like productive force in the community.
Wow.
And they get all the money. The point was not to fucking take all their money away, but not to give them everything. I mean, they get all the fucking money.
No, or also just to manage the resources better.
To manage the resources better, yeah. But they get all the money, and they've been repeatedly shown to be incompetent and fucking corrupt. So that's the whole point. Fix that shit, man.
The point is, I'm sure there's a lot of stories of the police being there and saving somebody's life or whatever. I'm sure, right?
Definitely are,
but there's many occasions where, I mean, like, not to be a dick, but if you look at Uvalde.
Yeah, where
they had tons of guns and tons of people, and that didn't save anybody's life.
They fucking stood outside while children were getting killed, and arresting fucking parents and pepper spraying them so that they wouldn't go in to try and save their own kids.
It's like, I mean, what's up with their jail? What's up with their jails? Not ours.
Yeah,
their jails. I mean, it seems like that. If anything, people go into jail and they become not even better criminals. They become fucking violated.
Yeah, they become institutionalized
and
unable to.
I won't say that they're criminals. I won't even say that they become
better
criminals. I find that they become, like, honestly, like traumatized.
Yeah.
You just make more trauma, like,
Yeah.
On top of trauma, on top of trauma.
I mean, there's a thing about Rikers Island, I mean, there's like people dying left, right, and center in Rikers Island, man. It happened for fucking decades, and nobody's done anything about it. It's the most horrible prison in the country. It's a fucking horrible place, man.
Yeah, and people say it's infested as well.
It's
like with like so much shit, like rats, disease, everything.
Rats, roaches, fucking all kinds of fucking disease. And it's probably easier to get fucking drugs there than it is anywhere in the fucking city.
And like, how does that work? Because somebody has to be dirty. I mean, like, you're talking about a jail, which should be like kind of like an airtight.
It's the fucking guards.
Yeah. Well,
the guards.
So then it's like
they pay them shit money.
But then so what?
Well, it's not even shit money, really. It's not. No. It's really not shit money. I mean,
No,
like
but you're giving access to people who have. You're giving access, or you're giving control to somebody over other people who they basically are like they dehumanize them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't get it. It's like you think, okay, so there's still people getting high in jails. So what's the solution? Putting more people in jail?
Apparently so. Apparently so. I mean,
because that's profit driven.
This whole thing on Blue Bloods is driven by this, and Law and Order SVU. It's like letting these criminals back out into the street fucking thing. It's like nearly every episode is they've let some guy back out on the street.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to do like modest fucking bail reform.
Right.
Because the cash bail system it's horrendous. People who are like, some fucking person who's like shoplifted is now like, they have to come up with like, $1,000 fucking dollars to get out of jail. Well, if they have $1,000, why do you think they were shoplifting? Because
or they weren't. There's a lot of people who are innocent.
Or they weren't.
And they might, if they don't have the money, they might as well plead guilty to get home.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, imagine if you were in jail for 6 months.
Yeah.
And they say to you, leave now because it's overflow, but you have to plead guilty because and then time served and whatever.
You can't have a reasonable conversation about this anymore, nor could you ever really.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember Ronald Reagan, when Ronald Reagan was running, like the welfare queens, and then George H.W. Bush, when he ran, it was Willie Horton. And Willie Horton was this guy who had been on a weekend furlough release program, and he raped and murdered somebody.
Okay.
So it was like, oh, he's soft on crime.
Okay, so if you, yeah.
Right. And
it's a revolving door.
It's a revolving door, the
system.
prison system. Never mind that George H.W. Bush was a fucking absolute fucking gangster for his entire fucking life, man. Like, I mean, like how many, like Willie Horton's body count, so you put that on Michael Dukakis, right?
Okay.
That's one.
Okay.
That's one. We'll
How about George H.W.?
George H.W. Bush? Well, we don't really know, do we? Do we really know how many fucking people?
You're never gonna get over this dude.
Not letting it go.
You're not letting it go.
He was there the day Kennedy was shot. Fucking, like, put it together. Put it together. He was standing on the steps in
You were
fucking
like,
Dallas.
I think the other day we talked about this, you were like,
Get the fuck
you
out
were
of
like, there's not that many tall people.
Yeah, there weren't back in the day. He fucking stood out, man. He was like 6'5", man. You know what I mean? He stood out, man. I'm telling you, he was there.
I get you. I just think.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I mean, I'm not taking the piss. I'm like distracting a little bit because, you know, my Bush family obsession, and it's funny,
Yeah.
but like.
You might be the original Bush derangement syndrome person.
I could be, yeah. I could be, yeah. I just think they're. I mean, if
Deranged by Bush. You're
look,
not the original one.
If you look, no, definitely. If you look back on that family, the
It's a horrible
fucking
pun.
just the litany of crimes that they've committed are just it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling that these people were allowed, and they've been at, and they will still be again. I would not surprise me
No.
to see one of the girls. I'm telling you.
Nah.
I'm putting it down right here. One of the
well.
girls. One of the girls. What are their names?
Jenna
and Jenna and the sad one
Useless,
that
yeah.
nobody remembers. She'll probably be the big politician.
She probably would, because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
other one's on morning TV.
No, you see what I mean? They're on their way. It's the fucking It's the third wave.
True. I was waiting
the
for
third
Meghan
wave,
McCain
man.
to do that.
Get the fuck out of here. She's useless.
But she really wants to be the fiery, stupid, what do you call it? What do they call him? A maverick.
A maverick.
But that's like,
She can't be. Her dad was a maverick. She has to be a firebrand.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
A ball busting.
Yeah. Yeah. My father.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck your dad now.
No, I'm sorry. I think one of the Bush girls. It wouldn't surprise me if they're in politics. Texas. It's like they could walk into the
I'm
governor's
pretty
office.
sure they all live in New York. The funny thing is, all those people.
Doesn't matter. George W.
Oh, yeah, he's from
W.
Connecticut.
grew up in Connecticut, for fuck's sake. He moved to fucking Texas when he was like, I think he went to Texas for like 11th grade. He went
Okay.
he went to Croton, which is like a posh fucking private school in Connecticut. And then he went for like 11th and 12th grade in Highland Park, Texas.
Yeah.
Where he's like from. And
They're supposedly from Midland, Texas. That's what they said.
and somehow like
He's got a twang and
he
everything.
talks like a good old boy. Like they're like, George. I remember them saying like, George W. Bush is the kind of guy. You know, you'd like to stand around the barbecue and
Drink
have a beer with
beer.
him. And I'm like, that motherfucker is like grew up drinking fucking martinis and fucking shagging co-eds at fucking Dartmouth. Oh, not Dartmouth. What's
No,
the fucking
Harvard or Yale?
No, I can't remember the girls' school. It would have been a funny joke if I'd gotten the fucking right girls' school.
I
name.
gotcha.
Anyway.
Oh, like Sacred Blessed Heart kind of thing.
Yeah, no, there's a famous fucking girls' school. It was basically like I can't remember the name of the fucking girls' school. It'll come to me.
Was it just there for people in the boys' school to
Pretty
fuck?
much, yeah.
Okay,
Pretty
gotcha.
much, yeah. I mean, it was like marriage fodder, but like, you know, so one or two would get married up, but there was like a lot of. I mean, those people slept around. They were fucking tramps for years, man. They all fucked each other. They were all fucking unbelievable.
Which is not illegal or bad.
No,
necessarily.
no. I'm not saying that. But then they come up. But then they
But
come
then
out.
they're about family values.
Yeah,
And
you know what I mean? Like this. It's pretty fucking reliable that George W. Bush got a girl pregnant and she had an abortion. It's pretty fucking reliable.
Wait, where'd you get that from? The book?
Yeah.
Where did it say that?
Russ Baker, family. What the fuck is the name of the book? Family of Secrets.
A Family of Secrets. Bush
Russ
says.
Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he say that?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't say, like, it's really hard to say anything because they're so good at covering shit up.
And did somebody die or something in the building? Was he in an apartment building or something and somebody died?
No, I think that's, oh yeah. There was a woman who
You're
died.
like, throw it on.
Yeah, fuck
You're like,
that shit,
I
I'm
don't even
sure.
care.
I don't know, I don't remember. Fuck it, throw it on there, put it on there. I know he did it. I hate that motherfucker.
You do.
Yeah.
You hate them.
No, I don't. I mean, I can't. That family are terrible, man. And you know, it did my head in when everybody's like fucking, like everybody's hair was on fire because they were like, Donald Trump's the worst president we've ever had. I'm like, no, not by a fucking long shot.
No.
Not by a fucking long shot.
No. I mean, he took us to war, or took them to war. I say us. I don't know why I say that.
Yeah, he took them.
Yeah.
Us. Well, me.
Actually, he took everybody to war, really.
Yeah, it took the whole world to war.
Because at some point, everybody feels a bit culpable, and you should.
I was watching another one of my fucking stories there on my shows. SEAL Team. What is fucking awful, man. I don't know.
Shit?
I just have it on like I fucking.
I get it,
have
and
on
then
my
you do
laptop.
other shit, and then you this is dumb.
And I'll hear something. I'll go, get the fuck out of here.
I think it makes me feel smart when I figure out who the criminal is in Law and Order before they tell you, but I shouldn't because the foreshadowing is unbelievable.
Yeah, SEAL Team.
SEAL Team. That's why I watch.
SEAL Team, right? And it's like, and the guys who are in this fucking SEAL Team, they're all in their like 40s, right?
Yeah.
They've all got like, they got wife and kids at home. It's like, that's not, the SEAL Team is not that. There's nobody over fucking 30 in the fucking SEAL Team.
I was gonna say,
they're
right?
all single. They're all, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get fucking, I'm gonna get murked
What are you
for
gonna
saying this,
say?
but they're all like a bit twisted. They need people who are a bit twisted and have like very loose morals, and then they train them to have even looser morals because they are actually going in and illegally entering places and going and killing people. These are black ops people.
Okay.
And SEAL Team is like a show that's propagandizing them and making them into these family guys fighting for American values. And it's just complete bullshit. But I was watching the program the other day, and he's going like, and then we're at this veteran center, and he's talking to this other vet, and he goes, you know, and he's lost his leg. One guy's lost his leg. And he's like, you know, this war's been so hard on so many of us. And I'm like, hang on a minute, what war? What fucking war are you talking about? And then I realized, the war on terror.
No.
Yeah. So
no, we're going back to that.
We're still in it. We're still in the war on terror. This is it. We're still in the war on terror.
I want to go back to the war on drugs. That was more fun.
The war on drugs was more fun. Yeah, I think
it's still going on too.
Well, that's still
actually
going
you're
too.
right. Actually, you're right.
Yeah.
The funny thing, the war on drugs could be done like that.
Yeah, just legalize it all.
Not only that, you could also just look at people like Purdue and Sackler and be like, you know what, you need to pay some money.
Yeah. No, not
No,
that.
like all the money.
No. You need to pay some money, and you need to go to fucking jail. Not that fucking country club jail. The shitty jail with the fucking crackheads and the fucking and the oxy fucking heads that you created. You need to go into that Gen Pop fucking jail. That's where they need to go.
Crazy.
Oh, I'd love to see one of those fucking
That would
cunts
be
go into
mental.
Gen
It's
Pop, man.
never, ever gonna happen.
Yeah, that would be fucking.
Ever,
but I tell you what, if one of them did go into Gen Pop, the next motherfucker, like, you know, they talk about like criminal punishment. Like the punishments in the U.S. are so fucking
crazy,
like draconian punishments,
Yeah.
right? Like that it's a deterrent. It's
No,
not a
it's not a
deterrent.
deterrent. No, it's not.
But I tell you what, if you took one of these motherfuckers out of their fucking flash penthouse or their really nice country house and stuck them into Gen Pop,
Crazy.
that would be a deterrent.
Well, yeah, because
That would be a
what
deterrent.
kind of recidivism could you have? You cannot have a big, massive criminal enterprise again like that. You can't like fucking.
No, but I mean, but if you take people who have nothing to lose,
Yeah, of course they're
and you
gonna stay
throw the
there.
fucking book at them, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But if you take people like who have like loads of property and assets and all this shit, and they
take
live a really
everything
cushy
away
life,
from
you take everything away from them and stick them in jail. That sends a message to the guy fucking next to them who's going, "Fuck, maybe I better stop doing some of this nefarious shit." But they'll never do that, so
Well,
it doesn't
and
matter.
it's too big.
Yeah,
And
they'll
I
never
think
do
I
this.
think that phrase "too big to fail" meant something else actually. Even when they were talking about the banks,
Yeah.
too big to fail is like every single massive corporate. Like there's no way you can make any corporate head a criminal. You can't do it
It's
because nobody else gonna let that happen.
too big to fail means like if you've got enough money,
Yeah.
you're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah, you can misbehave, you can break all the rules,
You can murder people.
you can murder people,
You can literally murder many
do
people.
whatever you want, but if you've got enough money, we're good with it.
We're good with it.
Yeah, and
Because you're
that's-
going to pay in somehow. You're
That's the
going to
world
pay
we
it
live
off.
in.
That's
That's the world we live in.
it's true.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, it's crazy. If we're going back to this article from Knock LA, that
Sorry, the subject.
no, it's okay.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. But it's just the fact that we're also talking about the people who are supposed to be policing you.
Oh yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're terrible.
I mean, and then on top of it, you're like, let's give them more guns and more money.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then I'm like that Alex Villanueva ad with all the like all the
Oh yeah, his
It's
ad
just-
for re-election because he's he's now.
Yeah,
This is happening
exactly.
now. This is 100
yeah,
years. This
but,
history.
But all this criminality and shit that he's showing
Yeah.
fucking pictures of, this is all on his fucking watch. So like
It's true.
Yeah, I mean like
true.
what are you talking about? Like
You did this.
You did this, and we're supposed to elect you again, so you can fix it.
That's-
We'll elect you again and give you more money, and you'll fix it this time.
That's the thing that fucking irked me about Biden and all the Democrats and stuff when after Roe v. Wade got overturned and they were like, if you vote for us again, we're going to make sure. And I'm like, but you just let this happen.
Yeah.
This just happened on your watch.
always the same.
You fucking idiot.
Yeah, yeah, it's
And I
the
was just like, wait, so if we vote you again, you're going to continue to do nothing. Vote for you again and continue to do nothing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, look what just happened in the UK. The same like
Oh.
the same like I don't know,
Stop.
50,000. We have, nobody knows how many. Remember, I thought it was like 120,000 people in the Conservative Party that
way
voted
less.
on the thing. It's way less. But they don't really know how many it is. But the same people who voted Liz Truss in now just voted Rishi Sunak in, and they are also the same people who voted Boris Johnson in, and Theresa May, and David Cameron. Like,
Well, that's the revolving door of criminality.
yeah.
That's the revolving door.
You know, and like these people can't fuck up. I mean, you know.
What do you mean fuck up?
Yeah, I
This,
mean,
it works.
yeah, exactly. You know, it's like we fucked up. Okay, well, we'll just put another one of you in there to start over again.
Sorry.
Fucking it up.
And then in the meantime, they're not doing anything, by the way.
No, they're not. They're fucking terrible, man.
That's what's so funny about it. You're
Yeah.
actually not doing anything. Like, I always used to get irked by the fact that I'm like, you know, they're just running.
Yeah.
They're campaigning. That is their job.
But their fucking thing about, I remember the energy thing. I was watching what they were doing with the energy costing, and the energy costs in the UK have gone fucking, it's just ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
Like people's bills have like quadrupled. And it's like they're going, oh, well, we're going to give you, you know, whatever, like we're going to give you $300 a month to, you know, to help you cover the cost. It's like, why don't you just, instead of doing that, because you're giving those people $300 so they can give it to your friends at Shell and BP and all the energy companies, why don't you just fucking put a price cap on the fucking energy and say, listen, that's it.
Yeah.
You can't fucking price gouge anymore because this is what they're doing. Like,
Well, that's communism.
yeah, I mean, like
That's
why-
communism.
like,
That's what they get
yeah.
to say.
I mean, I've already had my inflation thing, and I've been already told I'm an idiot, and I don't know what I'm talking about. But I mean, I'll say
Who
it.
told you you're an idiot?
Lots of people said I was an idiot because inflation is because of this and that, and it's
But
supply
what?
and demand, and blah blah
No,
blah.
it's not.
Inflation is because of fucking like the major cause of inflation is fucking price gouging,
It's corporate speculation.
corporate price gouging, and
Yeah.
corporate profiteering.
Yeah, they already know. Like they use every single thing as an excuse, whether or not it affects them.
Yeah, yeah.
It's super easy to say gas prices are high all the
You
time.
stick the word inflation out there, and then suddenly it's just like, oh, okay, that's it. Okay, well, we better put our prices up. Oh, we better let's put our prices up. Let's put our prices up. And suddenly, the thing that you thought might come, now it's
here.
suddenly here, and it's inflation. You know what I mean?
So is the delivery.
And so is the delivery.
That's perfect time. All right.
So, yeah. Can't remember where we were. Anyway,
Well, we were at what the fuck were we talking about?
I don't know. We were talking about inflation and shit, and it's
I
all.
get
It's
shit on for that.
It's all the same. It's all the same shit. You know what I mean? Like we're being bullshitted. It's all bullshit. And Americans get out and vote. I guess if you feel that way or whatever, you know, or don't.
What way?
really matter.
You gotta.
Doesn't really matter. Make any difference.
I can't do this.
It's not gonna make a difference. It's not gonna make a difference.
It's gotta make a difference. Somehow you have
Yeah, but it's all bullshit.
It's all bullshit.
Yeah, this is my point. The whole election is about bullshit, man. Nobody's really talked about there's nobody, like none of the big ones that you see on TV that are the big important ones, the so-called important ones, none of them are talking about the fucking economy and about how people's lives are fucked
can't
up.
do that.
They're talking about crime and abortion
You can't do
and fucking transgender bathrooms.
that. Can't talk about.
Yeah, we're talking about doing something substantive to fucking fix the economy, to fucking fix people's lives, to maybe do something about the fact that you're being like, you're being like gouged at every turn by big corporate fucking overlords, but they can't do that because they're the ones who fucking pay the bills for them to run.
Exactly. You can't say anything about that. I mean, I saw like recently there was thing like on The View, and they were like, their audience members were screaming at them about climate change, and they interrupted the cast, like, you know, the broadcast. They were screaming at them, and I was laughing at them like, they can't talk about that stuff.
No, they can't talk about that shit. They can't. I think they
can't talk about abortion.
Ted Cruz was on, right?
Yeah.
And then one of them, I saw a thing that one of them the next day said that they'd like to talk about climate change, but we'll have to do it in a special show. And then they just moved on. It's like, do you know what I mean? Like, but I mean, I'm even fed up with the fucking discussion on climate change, because that's all bullshit too. Like, nobody's doing anything about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, to try and, like, the whole thing. That's a whole nother show. We're saying goodbye. We'll talk about.
There's no
change.
point, though. He says. Yeah, there's no point. We're all fucked.
We are all fucked. Honestly, just go out, consume plastic, don't fucking recycle. Fuck it.
And if anything goes wrong, call a crackhead.
Listen, yeah, and if anything goes wrong, call a crackhead. That's it. That's the message today.
You have more crackhead friends.
Forget the police, call a crackhead. Bye.
I feel like crackheads could probably solve climate change too, no?
Yes.
I mean, how? I mean, they do use a lot of plastic bottles.
They do. They do.
They reuse them, though, I think.
Maybe that smoking that crack has created like dome over the planet and shit that would fucking stop the rays getting in and shit, man. Bye.
Too good.
Call a crackhead. Call a crackhead. Call a crackhead.